Welcome to the Bad Gamecast. I'm Jake.
This is Alex.
I'm Jason.
And this week we played Rogue Warrior.
Oh, yay!
Yep.
We just played Rogue Warrior.
Fun was had by all.
There it is. You know, this might be the first game. Yeah, so far this is the only game that we've all played together and then immediately recorded.
Yeah, we got together, had a bang old time, played Rogue Warrior.
Did a lot of drinking.
It requires it.
Might as well continue.
I think it was more fun this way. I mean, I know we can't do this every time, but I think every time we get the chance to play a game together, we should.
Yeah, no, I was just fucking waiting for you on that one. I do wish we, in the future, more games we can do this together.
Right.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yep.
Especially as we're making fun of it the whole time.
Oh, and this one, it gets made fun of.
So, Rogue Warrior, released in 2009, developed by Rebellion Developers.
Whatever happened to them?
They're still around. They've done a lot of ports of different games to different platforms, of course. They're also the ones responsible for the Sniper Elite series.
Oh, that's not too bad.
I've never played any of those.
I haven't either, but I've certainly heard of them.
And they look great.
High praise from
Yep.
Alex.
Yep.
I mean, what other game can you shoot Hitler in his remaining testicle?
Can you shoot Hitler in the balls in that game?
You abso-fucking-lutely can. And it's ball, because you only had the one.
Are you sure?
Yes.
He was uniballing?
He was.
Freak.
The more you know.
Published by Bethesda Studios, which, if you're listening to this, you know who Bethesda is.
Yeah, they just probably signed the checks.
Oh, 100%. They were just the benevolent overlord in this.
So, games released in 2009. I went through this in the Last Remnant podcast we did, so I'll do a shorter, different list. We've got Fear 2,
Ugh.
Plants vs. Zombies, Guitar Hero 5, Band Hero, DJ Hero, Forza Motorsport 3, FIFA 10, for all of our UK listeners. That's a shout out for you.
So we were right in the heart of that rock band Guitar Hero, just...
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't FIFA appeal to anybody that's not an American, basically?
And plenty of Americans.
Who? Name 76 in alphabetical order, go.
Yeah. They have to be alive still.
There's Albert.
Oh, I know Albert. That fucker's not really a FIFA fan. It's just all bullshit.
So, also, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, and, of course, The Last Remnant.
So out of all those games, the only ones I've played are Last Remnant and Fear 2.
I played Guitar Hero 5, Band Hero,
Played
The Last
one Guitar
Remnant,
Hero, you played them all.
and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, which I fucking love that game.
I never touched it.
Don't really know.
Nope.
I mean, you two should go and play it. It's fucking sweet.
Was it a fighting game?
Isn't it like a brawler?
Kind of, yeah.
So what about Rogue Warrior, though?
It's a shooter. Pew pew.
It is a tactical shooter.
No, it's not.
Oh, no, man, no.
That is what it's listed as.
Yeah, well, that's not true.
Well,
What tactics did we use in this game other than rush them and press the X button?
Because it's the strongest weapon in the game.
occasionally took cover.
On accident.
And then, yeah.
It is a first-person, I hesitate to say cover-based, but cover is certainly there, shooter. Is that what makes it tactical?
Gotta be. That you can take cover.
Gotta be.
Oh man, that is the loosest definition of tactics I have heard in a while.
I mean, there is still a tactic involved. Right?
I guess.
I guess we'll get to it. Opening. You get to choose your difficulty, which is easy if you're a pussy. Medium, bring it on, motherfucker. And hard, you think you're fucking special.
So from the beginning, you get the feeling of this game and how it is super, like, American machismo.
From the onset, you know what you're in for. It's all screaming eagles and fucking M16s and shit. Wow! Fuck yeah.
No, we can wait.
What? What do you want me to do? I agree. Move on.
So, yeah, it is... We played on the normal difficulty.
Yep.
Just...
What do we play this on?
Oh, that was a PS3, right?
Yep.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Sure.
Provided by yours truly.
Good job, Alex, finding this game.
You're welcome.
And I didn't have to pay for it, so that's always positive.
Absolutely.
Spent
Although, it is my
500
PS3,
pennies on it.
So...
Please.
500 pennies.
Oh, we only used your PS3 because we couldn't use mine.
You could have brought it. Shit. Then you would have brought the disc with you.
Then you would have had it the first time.
We got it. I don't want to hear any more squawking.
Squawk.
Brought it upon yourself.
Uh,
So, there's a story. Should we go through it or not?
No, please, lead it off.
Right, so the whole thing is very just sequential. You go through and kill dudes until you get to the objective. Every level. Forever.
yeah.
I mean, it's not forever. It's fairly short.
It is actually really short. So, you are being dropped into North Korea. It's 1986?
Yes.
The Koreans are developing missiles, and you're sent in to investigate. There's a CIA operative in there who's acting as a double agent, and you're supposed to get intel from him and then scout the warehouse that you think is making missiles. You go in, you kill a bunch of dudes. By the time you get there, though, oh no, they discovered the double agent and they kill him. They've killed him. You kill all the other people, but you still got the intel, so that's something. They're building... Perfection. They're building missiles, so you go to investigate, you kill all the people, you blow up all the missiles. You'd think that'd be the end of it. No. You go...
Yes, Alex, that showed up fucking perfectly on here.
I just wanted to check. I see, did that make it? There's more where that came from. Go ahead.
You do... okay, so next is what you go to the docks because they think they're loading the missiles that they already made that you didn't blow up onto boats. You show up at the docks and you're like, they're not loading them on boats, they're loading them onto trains. Because that's kind of how your character goes.
I feel like we glossed over a very important detail. Who does the voice of the main character in this game?
Oh shit, that is I don't know, is he an Oscar winner? It's
I want to say yes for the wrestler, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke doing the voice acting.
2009 Mickey Rourke. So,
Yeah, so-
was that like still alcoholic, drug problem Mickey Rourke?
I think that might be just the tail end of it, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
With such lines as...
Who's going first?
Oh, you.
Me? Well, we've got plenty to pick from, but some of my favorites, suck my balls, my hairy fucking big balls, wrap them around your mouth. That always makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Man, goddamn cock breath, commie motherfuckers.
Always a good one.
Yeah. Let's see. Fucking commies keep getting in my way. I own your fucking soul, you fucking commie bitch. Come on, hold your balls, let's go. You fucking pig farmers. Chew it, pencil dick. Fuck, piss, goddamn. And it goes on.
Yes, it does.
I just wonder who wrote those.
The idea that someone actually wrote them is amazing to me.
I didn't write it down. I don't know why. I should have.
Yeah.
But yes, these lines were written.
Yeah. Somebody was paid to write shit, and bullshit.
Somebody was paid to write, it looks like the douchebag conventions in town.
Which you say, occasionally when you just cap a dude in the head.
Keeping in mind that you are usually in North Korea or some other former Soviet republic in this game, and nobody around you speaks English or understands it.
But you still scream it.
Yeah.
While you're stealthing, you can overhear them speaking, I assume, actual Korean and Russian,
We
I
didn't
don't
actually verify that.
I don't speak either of those languages, so I didn't actually know that they were saying anything that made sense.
Right.
But then you sneak up on them, perform your secret magic kill by pressing X. You stand up, stab them in the throat or other various
Throat or ear or sternum or
eye,
back of head,
base of your
eye.
skull.
lots of knife stabbing, and you shout some ridiculous line. Like, you get up, stab them in the back of the head and go, boom time, baby! And then
Rock and roll, motherfucker.
none of the other people react?
Nope. They don't even hear you.
No.
Well, no, everyone is deaf to American English.
I get that.
Which makes no sense, though. Who's your enemy?
The North Koreans and the Russians?
No. I mean, from their perspective, who's their enemy? Right. So
Chinese?
you think they would at least know some basic English? It's like, hey, there's a dude over here with like an SMG and he's shouting profanity in English. Maybe we should address that. And they're just like, no, those two guys got it. It's probably nothing.
Well, I mean, they probably should have, but they didn't.
Right.
Because you play as Dick Masinko. Demo Dick his goddamn self.
Insert demo dick interview here.
Dearly, 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 dearly.
Yep, with a sweet-ass mustache, beard, and greasy fucking ponytail.
One of the shortest ponytails I think I've ever seen.
One of the sexiest ponytails, you mean?
So then without the ponytail, does he just have a sweet mullet?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would have rather had the mullet. That's more American than fucking little nubbin ponytail sticking out the back of his head with all grease covering it.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. That ponytail is fucking rocking.
Well, you said it's 86, right? So the mullet is still in style back then, isn't it?
It is.
So
God
what the
damn
fuck,
it.
man? I would have much preferred
Rendering
a
a
mullet.
mullet was far more complicated than a ponytail that never moves.
That's a good point.
Right, it's 86, but it was made in 2009, so ponytail is in.
Might as well give him like a man bun, too.
Oof. Anyway, Jason?
I don't remember where it was. Docks, right? So they're not using boats, they're using trains. They're sending the missiles to Russia. The damn Ruskies.
But why?
No.
Russia was using North Korea as a cover to manufacture their missiles.
It doesn't seem like a very good cover, considering that North Korea has been an enemy of the United States since the 50s.
Yes, and Captain Big Swingin' Dick, Demo Dick Marcinko, found it out in all of 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it helps when you can get your intel by gunning down a couple hundred people.
Is that how we did it?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes.
I don't recall them telling us anything.
Well, at the beginning and end of each level, you would talk to the Admiral
I don't know.
Right.
for your
You would. For your orders.
intel? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
You would tell him that it's all a goat fuck,
Yeah.
and
you did drop goat fuck a lot.
a lot.
That's like one of the first lines of the game.
Yep.
It's
No,
a fucking goat fuck.
you show up and they're like flying in your helicopter to land for the first time, and he's like, they think this is going to be a regular mission, but it might just turn into a goat fuck. And you're like, what is happening?
And I've been to an old-fashioned goat fuck since my days in the Middle East.
I mean, I haven't been to one since, 6 months I've been to the Midwest, but, I mean, to each
Oh,
their
well,
own.
I mean, we got to hit them all then. Last time I was in Wales.
Back in 1992. No, nothing.
When you wore a onion on your belt, as was the fashion at the time.
I invented the turlet.
But I digress from my prepared speech to tell you about how I invented the turlet.
Moving along. So we're at the docks. There's missiles. We're moving them to Russia.
Yeah, they're moving them to Russia on
So,
trains.
so let's back up for a second. So why are the North
Why are we
Koreans...
backing up? We need to go forward.
Because I gotta understand.
Okay, you can
Why?
try.
Why are the North Koreans producing missiles for the Soviets?
Because the Soviets told them to.
But what do they need the North Koreans to make them missiles for?
Because it's a really bad cover.
For what?
Making missiles to blow up the United States.
Ugh, man, it doesn't even make sense to me, and I played it.
Don't worry, there's more wonderful things that'll make lots of sense. So you hop on the train, head into Russia, evade some Ruskies.
Now remember, the Soviets at this point. I feel like we should make that distinction.
Oh, yeah.
When did the wall fall down?
89,
Yeah, all right.
November 10th.
Yeah, no,
Come on,
there's...
hey, bro.
Were you there? Jesus.
No, he's right.
Do you have a
At this
chunk in
point,
your living room?
They're still Soviets, so...
I got some memorabilia. Yeah, the Russians are still Soviets today in 2018. Don't let them fool you. They're just waiting.
Oh. Okay.
Mm.
So you
Come on, hurry up.
Okay, cool. You blow up the bridge with the missiles.
The bridge with the missiles?
No, you blow up the bridge with C4, I thought.
Yeah.
After the
The missiles are on the bridge.
Missiles
on
are
the
on
train.
the bridge. We're blowing it up.
Yeah.
the Ruskies try and pull them off, and that's what
Soviets.
explodes the bridge.
Spetsnaz.
Spetsnaz.
Yeah, I guess they're Spetsnaz.
So you blow up the bridge. How the fuck do you get to the next area?
Jason, can you say that again for me?
What?
Spetsnaz?
Spetsnaz.
That's the one.
All right.
Thank you.
Original recipe. So the Spetsnaz blow up the bridge, right?
You blow up the bridge. They try to stop you and they all die.
You're on the end of the bridge when it blows up, so you can continue on.
Okay.
Great. You go to some place that,
You just walk over there.
yeah,
Pretty
to
fucking
the
much.
new
yeah.
place. Next level. Ready
next
to go.
level. I don't remember which mission this was.
As far as I'm concerned, we're close to the end already.
Yeah, well,
At this point, we're halfway through, yeah. The
game's like
tunnels are on
3
fire.
hours long.
Yeah.
How long did it take us to beat this? Start to finish. 3 hours?
A little longer. I think it took us about 4 hours altogether, but that's with us drinking and then ultimately just like half paying attention, throwing ourselves at some bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some sections that took us longer than they probably should have had we not been inebriated.
Drink, you said?
There's something like the Russians have a missile defense system, and you blow that up.
Right, because that's part of the Cold War. You can't have a missile defense system, and it compromises the basically the ideal of mutually assured destruction, if I could get the fucking words out, of how you can't have missiles and you can't use them, but you also can't have a missile defense system because it gives you an advantage.
I'm going to
in a nuclear
quote
war.
Mickey Rourke here. The Star Wars system was bullshit.
Meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Russians figured it out real great, so they have a 100% accurate missile defense system.
We don't even have that today.
Nope.
I mean, I was reading about North Koreans attacking Hawaii, and it's like, yeah, we've got a missile defense system that works like 60% of the time.
No, that you know of.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. This is, 30 years later after this game is supposed to take place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
80s,
Let
the
me do
80s,
slow math in my head.
the 1980s were over 30 years ago, believe it or not, at this point.
So yeah, you couldn't actually believe that they had a fully functional missile defense system. But you hit that missile defense system with a missile?
Yeah, you do.
And then everything's
Irony.
on fire. You escape and go somewhere.
Kazakhstan.
Is this where you go to the dam?
Yes. Right? Yeah. You go from the train blowing up, and then that is at the dam.
What?
Dam. Yeah.
Anyway, eventually this leads you to a dam where they're loading some of their remaining missiles onto a submarine, and you blow up the dam, and then you blow up the submarine, and the game's over.
Really? Is that how this game ends? I wasn't
Yeah.
really paying attention. I was just,
Yeah, is that what happened at the end?
I was
Yeah.
just playing.
You just literally every objective is just put more blocks of C4 that you keep pulling out of your, I assume, cavernous asshole.
Oh.
Since you never have it on you up until you go and hit X to use item, then he places a block of C4 about the size of your torso on it. He's like, "Yep, this is gonna blow up now."
Yeah, shit, I suppose, because you're at the top of the dam when you're off the train, and then Shenanigans ensue, and you, quote, fast rope, unquote, your way down the dam. And I suppose that is where it takes you to the submarine where the final level is, right?
Yes.
I don't. That sounds confident. We literally just played it.
Yeah, but you were in the bathroom and he was playing and I'm back here drinking. So, I mean, come on.
More beer, you said?
Yeah. I'm at least a 6-pack in at this point.
So that's the whole game. Hooray! It's done!
So it really is that short.
Yeah. We started playing at like 1:30.
No, it was after that.
Oh, wow. We wrapped up 5 o'clock? Before 5?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's no character development. There's no background to the story other than what we already know about the Cold War. You know, this character, I imagine... Because isn't this game based on a book?
No.
No? What?
It is based on Richard Marcinko's biography, but it is a fictionalization of that.
A dramatization.
Sure.
Yes.
A radio play.
All right.
They need you to know that this isn't how it really happened, because this is wholly ridiculous.
Okay. And that's kind of the thing I was wondering about this game as I was playing it, is do they realize how shitty it is, and are they kind of embracing that? And that, especially, I thought that when we got to the credits.
I think yes and no. They may have wanted it to be better than it was, but it's rushed. And you can tell that in the random glitches that appear. Although, to be fair, nothing game-breaking.
It's true.
No crashes, no freezing, none of that.
Nope. But it didn't run particularly well. Especially when, like, there was a lot of enemies and the snow happened, and it was all slow.
Yeah, I did seem to suffer some serious lag. The more shit's on screen, I mean, you get more than 2 enemies and the levels with the snow, and it looks painful.
Now, back up, you mentioned the enemies. How many different character models did you notice for at least the North Koreans? Because I know there's North Koreans and then there's the Spetsnaz. But, I mean, within those individual factions, I guess you could say, how many different character models did you notice? Because I thought, and I'm not trying to be racist for this instance, all the North Korean dudes look the same to me.
Racist.
I'm going to say about 7 altogether. I saw 3 different Korean models and then 4 different Spetsnaz models.
Okay.
I think that's about right.
And yeah, I wasn't paying that close attention, so I certainly could be wrong on the different character models. Yep. Maybe each one is slightly different than all the others. But
I highly doubt that.
Yeah,
I mean, they were all just slanty-eyed to me. I mean, that's it. And they just take the bullets.
Yeah.
How you doing, everybody?
You know what you're getting with 10 Rules of Law.
That's right. What's up? How you doing?
This podcast does not endorse racism against Koreans.
This podcast brought to you by Zithromax, the official antibiotic of the Bad Games podcast.
Zithromax?
Hey, you know what? Those pharmaceutical companies pay, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but not us.
Is that an actual thing? Or, because it sounds like some kind of space entity.
Zithromax?
Yeah.
It's a real medication.
Oh, sure.
Come on, man. Z-Pack? Man. Get health insurance. What are you doing? Thanks, Obama.
Who can afford that?
Yeah. Are we talking about a game or something?
No.
No.
Yeah, we were talking about the one-man Korean genocide machine that is Dick Marcinko.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we got through the story, but there's not a whole lot there.
No.
It's just typical Cold War bullshit.
How long to beat says on average 2.5 hours, and it fucking means that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay with me, because if this game's any longer, I would have quickly lost interest.
That feels apropos.
Because that last level was annoying. Like, it...
Yeah.
There's a lot of, him shouting ridiculous things and kind of stupidity early on. But then the last level was just like a couple long corridors of enemies that you just had to slog through. And it felt like any of the interest from the beginning of the game where you were America, fuck yeah, was gone. And it was more just like, we're an actual shooter now. And I'm like, game, don't do that. Because you're not good at being an actual shooter.
Well, it's the last level, so like they try and crank the difficulty up a little bit, so the enemies hit a little harder. And the three of us, struggled. For all the we've been sitting here drinking for a few hours at this point, so it's not like we're giving it our fucking 100% best. And yeah, we were throwing ourselves at it. They ramp up the difficulty unnecessarily, I would say. They throw more enemies at you. They certainly hit harder.
Do they?
I don't think so.
I think they do.
Nah.
I don't. I think the only difference is maybe the guns they use, and they still generally use the same guns they use the whole game.
Nah, occasionally I would just get, clipped. There's just so many extra bullets and
There's
explosive
just more.
barrels.
Yeah, there's just more of them, so it's very artificial, the difficulty.
You think so? Because I don't think... there were more enemies, but I don't think at previous points in the game there were more enemies than we had seen on screen at one time. It seemed like we were dying faster unnecessarily at the last stage than any stage before it.
Keeping in mind that we are more intoxicated at that point, and that we are ready to end the game, and that we're rushing through it. There were multiple times where I know Jason and I would sprint forward and just hammer the X button, trying to get those quick kills so we get to the next checkpoint. So playing the game differently and being under the influence, I think, also makes the game a little bit harder. Because I'm with Jason here. I think it's not necessarily harder. They just throw more bullshit towards you. So, yes, it's harder, but it's just not innovative or interesting or fun or challenging. It's just frustrating and tedious.
Which is exactly what you want from a game.
Right. Even if it is 2.5 hours. I don't know. Just the impression I got.
Alright, so we're through the story. Let's get into the controls. How do you feel it controlled, Alex?
For the most part, typical first-person shooter, with a few exceptions. The cover-based system is just absolute garbage. I don't know why they crowbarred that into this game, because it changes you to a third-person perspective when you do go into cover, but you can also go into cover when you're in the first-person view. You can just crouch behind the box. You don't have to... Because, what is it, L1, R1? One of those buttons to press to go into cover?
L1, yeah.
So you press L1, and when you do that, the perspective changes to third person, and then you can blind fire over your cover, which, again, is totally useless. I'm pretty sure between the three of us, we got 5 kills through blind fire. That's just a guess. I don't know. But that's just a useless mechanic. In a first-person shooter, you should be responsible for taking cover yourself. The aim sensitivity is a little weird. I feel like there's a significant input lag, especially with moving and with looking and with aiming down sights. But other than that, I think it's all just kind of generic first-person shooter. There's not a whole lot to really experiment with here.
You're certainly not wrong. I thought the movement control certainly needed some adjustment. Like, as we were playing, I cranked up the sensitivity because initially it felt like we were moving through mud, which nobody moved in after that, which is fine. I certainly wouldn't have complained if we turned it down a little bit, because I had it about halfway up the slider as it was. Overall, the aiming, all the guns shoot like a fucking laser beam. Like, there's zero recoil, which is great for a multiplayer first-person shooter. That's what you want. You can go in there and feel like an absolute fucking badass as you're just mowing dudes down. The grenades, what's the last game we played? Homefront.
Right.
Completely different. These grenades felt like they have weight, which is one of those little touches that I really enjoy in a shooter. Feels like when you throw something, you're actually throwing it, not just hike it like a fucking football for 1,200 miles. It just goes off in the fucking distance.
I will say I had it bounce off of things weirdly, though. Like, I'd throw it, and it would hit, just like a string or a light and just go.
The physics are definitely weird in some parts.
Yeah. Like, I'd try to throw a grenade, and it'd be like, well, that sailed off into the magical distance, and I was like, okay, I was trying to throw it at these guys, but...
Now, speaking of the grenades, though, you cannot cook them.
No, you could not. If you hold the R1 to toss grenade, you just like stand there until you're ready to throw it, which is weird.
He doesn't go into the animation until you press and release R1. And that's the problem.
You know, that kind of brings it into the gun variety, which is lackluster.
It's pathetic.
There's what? Pistol?
Yeah.
Your rifles, which all felt the same?
Yep.
And then there's a sniper rifle and a shotgun?
Well,
And a grenade launcher.
Oh, shit. The grenade launcher that we had for one level. It had 3 bullets, and you never got more ammo.
Yeah. So there's what? 5, 6, maybe different weapons that we found. I mean, there might be some hidden bullshit. All the levels are very linear, and they've got a couple rooms you can go off to the side, but it doesn't, like, behoove you to go through them. There's no, like, collectibles to find. You just, like, continue.
There's more ammo, except you pick up an AK, and all the enemies use AKs, and you'll have all the ammo you ever want.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind the point where I had that one assault rifle, it was almost out of ammo, and I found another instance of that assault rifle out in a level somewhere. I picked it up and it had the exact same number of bullets as the previous rifle I was using.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're picking up extra ammo by doing that. You're just picking up another instance of this gun, and it's just totally pointless.
Is there anything left to talk about? I don't know. Graphics, sound?
Well, controls are done.
The graphics aren't great for 2009.
No.
I mean, they're serviceable. It's certainly playable. It's not. It's definitely not the prettiest. But I don't think it's the worst looking game.
It's early 360, like 05, 06. I'd say is when I would date these graphics.
Yeah, feels about right.
Yeah, all right. I mean, we haven't touched on like the shooting the guns, the fire that comes out from the end of the barrel is fucking laughable.
Oh, whenever there was fire, the fire was dreadful. Like, you go through a hallway where the whole ceiling's on fire. That was awful looking.
Yeah, it's clearly 2D, and it's fucking sweet. I love that. It looked like absolute trash.
There was another level I remember where we, I think, destroyed some kind of smokestack or whatever the fuck the case was, and you know, the building during the cutscene stays intact. There's just an explosion that they kind of render over the building. And then once we get out of the cutscene, then you see this giant, I think it was a smokestack. It was some kind of narrow tower.
That was early on, right?
I think so. And, you know, it just kind of falls in front of you, and you're supposed to be like, ooh, shit, that's amazing. But then the building that you just blew up is still kind of standing there, and there's nothing going on. There's no fire, there's no smoke. It's bad. Kind of, it's like Mighty Number 9, the explosions. Have you seen the explosions in Mighty Number 9?
I have not, no.
Okay, they basically look like giant pizzas on screen. So, you know, it kind of reminds me of that, like, okay, let's just animate some fire and some smoke over this building, and then people will think it exploded.
You look like you were thinking.
I was trying to think of what haven't we covered? Like the score, such as it is.
That's so the sound, which, okay, there's the background noises, which the soundtrack is too loud for most of the game.
Yep.
Especially because you're stealthing, it feels really kind of out of place when there's just this kind of epic music, which it wants to be, but it's just not quite there.
Yeah, by epic, it really felt like heist music, but cranked up to 11.
It's like we're playing Payday. That's the music.
Yeah. The background, the music was his lines, as we've already touched on, are hilarious and so loud. Like, they cut through that music, and you're just like, what is happening?
Now, to be fair, though, how do you feel about Mickey Rourke's performance? Did you buy it?
Mickey Rourke's performance is over the top and fucking amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It's funny.
No, it's great because of how just to the moon it is. Like, it is...
But it's the writing. It's not the voice acting.
The writing is so bad that he takes that writing and goes, well, this writing is terrible, so I'm going to be just, like, over-dramatic and just, like, throw a ton of emphasis on this, like, you know.
Come on, chew it, pencil dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're, like, it shines through as just this wonderfully kind of crazy lines, and he hits it. but that's the best part of the game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed whenever we would do something ridiculous and just die laughing because we grabbed a dude and said, "Rock and roll, baby!" Headbutted him and threw him out a window. That was amazing.
The voice acting in it, 100% just Mickey Rourke because he's the voice that you get the whole time. It's not bad. It is fan-fucking-tastic for just how over the top he goes for it the whole fucking time.
Yeah. I'd say if we didn't have John St. John, he could do a good Duke Nukem. Mickey Rourke could. Because it's like, he kind of gives you that macho type persona, and then he's just, the vulgarity just flows freely and naturally, and I think it sounds pretty good, and it's funny, and it gives you something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
So that's basically the whole game. Lots of it is not good.
Yeah, like sound effects, I think most of the guns typically kind of sound the same.
Yeah, there doesn't feel like there's a lot of variety as you're shooting different guns.
It's more like, this is how we think the gun should sound. They didn't go out and actually fire the weapons. Yeah, sound and music are pretty terrible.
No Wilhelm scream, though, which is always a positive.
No, but there were some open source sound effects that I caught.
Yeah, things that just like you notice from other games and stuff that just are in the background to alert you that it's the docks and it...
That buoy bell.
Yeah.
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 All right, so, Jason, would you recommend this game for anybody?
No. I enjoyed when it was crazy and the just like sprinting at people to mash X and do crazy kills and shout in their face like these insane swearing lines, but that only got you so far, and then you actually have to resort to shooting and being really boring. I wish the game was more of like embraced how crazy it can be, because when you run up and you have a special kill move where you grab the back of their head and you basically jam your knife straight through their eye, and as you pull them towards you, it looks like you're gonna kiss them for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want that the whole game. I want it just to be weird and zany, and it's not. Like, it...
You say that, but it's like super creepy.
Like, the plot just plods along and is pretty boring. Like, if it just takes weird, crazy turns where it's like, the Russians are stockpiling nukes because they're gonna nuke the moon men. And, like, I would have been way more interested in a just, like, insane version of this game where your main character is, like, thinks they're trying to do something and then it turns up being something entirely else, but they're still super American and embraces being weird. This, I think, at times I wanted it to be a real, like, shooter that, like, was taken seriously. And whenever they did that part, they didn't do it well enough.
And that was kind of my point about the length of this game, is that it's okay if this game's really short, if you're, trying to tell a story that, you can kind of wrap up in that time. But it just, they never really took advantage of that. I mean, I think the impression that I get here is that this is supposed to be a story about this badass Navy SEAL going in here and doing this mission. That's okay. I mean, the mission, it's not going to be prolonged. It's not going to be some kind of long, drawn-out war or whatever. But, man, they just really just kind of left it out there to dry. I mean, there's no substance to the story whatsoever, and that's one of the easiest things they could have done. I mean, you've got the source material, right? You said there's a book, even though it may be a little fantastical. Use it. Pump this game full of story and, make up for the piss poor gameplay.
So would you recommend this game for anybody, Alex?
No. I mean, the absurdity of it, I think, is what makes me want to play it again. But there are other games that do that far better, like Saints Row. Saints Row doesn't take itself seriously. You can shoot dildos at people. If this game were to go that direction, I think it'd be a lot better. Like, let's have some fun with it. Yeah, Mickey Rourke is a hard ass, and he reads these lines like, he's the best damn voice actor ever, and the writing is way over the top. Embrace it, then. don't give that mixed signal of like, yes, he's a hard ass and he says all this dumb shit, but we also have to make sure it's serious because we're fighting the Russians and the North Koreans and trying to stop nuclear war. It's like, just pick a tone and stick with it. So no, I wouldn't recommend this for anybody. Paid $5 for it. I feel like that's too much. You get 2, 3, maybe 4 hours of content. The online multiplayer I don't think works at all anymore. So
No.
I mean, why would you buy this game over Modern Warfare 2, which I think came out around the same time? If you're looking for a first-person shooter, if you're looking for something a little bit more over the top, then go play Saints Row. Go have fun. Don't put yourself through this.
See, I kind of disagree with you two. I recommend this game for anyone in the same case that we are. Like, if you can get a couple friends together, you're sitting down with some drinks, and you want to play through this game, which is 2.5, 3 hours long, by all fucking means, it is worth the $5 to sit down. You can all enjoy this craptacular game as you're playing through it. I didn't feel like it was that bad. As far as a shooter goes, it's not great, but I don't feel like it's the worst. It technically works. There's nothing game-breaking.
No?
The dialogue is ridiculous. Just the over-the-topness of Mickey Rourke's voice acting fucking sells it for me. Every goddamn time. It's alright. Absolutely.
Differing opinions. Ooh.
Yeah, it's just really a case of I think that there are other games that do it better. Whatever this game's trying to do, there are other games that do it better.
Oh, no arguments there. There's certainly games that go over the top way more. There's games that take themselves way seriously way more. However, for $5, if you can get a couple friends to pitch like $1 in, you're going to sit around, have some drinks, play this game for 3 hours together, like we did where we died, just pass the controller off. Fuck yeah. It's a great game. You can sit there, spend an evening doing.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah. Sure. I can see that. It's a shame the online multiplayer doesn't work. Just because there's nobody playing. But I mean, I would have been curious to see what it's like.
I am curious to see what that's like. And it's a shame that no one online bothered to post what that is.
I wonder what the peak player count was.
3.
What was that today when we were online?
Yes.
I ain't got shit to say.
No, I think I've said all I need to say about this game. Oh, you know what? If you're a trophy hunter, maybe this would be a good game for you. Because it is an easy platinum. It's a quick campaign. You do have to play it 3 times to get all the trophies. But, I mean, if you're going to put yourself through playing something like Hannah Montana or Megamind to get a platinum trophy, then this game might be worth, the 10 hours it might take you to get a platinum trophy?
You also need a friend that owns it too, though.
You do, for the multiplayer trophies. But that's just something to consider if you're a trophy hunter.
All right. You gentlemen ready for questions?
Sure.
Oh, shit. All right. What game made you fall in love with video games?
Oh, man. You should give us these questions
Ahead of time?
so I can actually think about it, because this might take a little while. Fall in love with video games? Ooh.
All right, I can go while he thinks.
Please.
For me, it's got to be Super Mario 3. Growing up, my entire family played video games, and we owned an NES. And it would just be like a family activity for the 4 of us to sit and play Mario 3 as long as it took until we beat the game. And, I was maybe 4 years old at the time. And, getting into Mario 3 and getting better at it and feeling like, you were improving, and that, it kind of just opened more doors for me, and it got me into gaming, and, just kind of built up from there. So I definitely have to say Mario 3. I still love that game.
I'm actually going to go Pokemon Red.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Blue is the superior game, but
Bullshit.
Please continue.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're wrong.
Growlithe is in Pokemon Red, not Blue. That's why Red's better than Blue. Blue has Vulpix and Ninetales. Red has Growlithe and Arcanine.
Deal with it.
Arcanine. Arcanine's the best.
Arcanine is by far the best fire Pokemon. Jesus. I think someone's out of their element here with the Pokemon discussion.
So, it's... Yeah.
Red.
One of us was alive when they came out.
I was?
How old were you, 2?
When Red and Blue came out?
That was the mid-90s.
That was 95. I was born in 90.
You don't even know when they came out. Boy, you need to sit down.
I don't remember when anything came out.
But, you know, as some of our previous questions have gone over, I played a lot of PC games, both by myself and with my family, as just like doing RPGs or adventure games and that kind of stuff. But then Red was really the first game I had, you know, to myself.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, strategy games and turn-based strategies, and it kind of just fueled that whole thing. And, you know, eventually you play through the whole thing, and then eventually somehow you hear and learn about the missing no glitch and all the other crazy stuff that's actually in those games because of how it was coded. And
Red is the only Pokemon game in which I've ever caught all 150. I don't think I've ever done that since I came close with Gold. I think I got like 231 out of the 252.
Yeah.
But Red, I got 150. And unfortunately, my cartridge is so old these days that I've lost that save file. But I did it. I swear.
So, I would have to say, I've talked about it before, the first RPG that I've played through, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which I realize is the, like, super dumbed down kiddie version of a Final Fantasy game.
Yep.
However, when I played that game, I was like 5, so it was fucking awesome.
That was perfect for you then.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for that game, I wouldn't love video games like I do now.
Hmm.
I mean, I had Super Mario, which I would play. However, it was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest that, like, kept me going through what happens next, what are we doing now, etc. All right. From Unholy186 on Twitter, what are you excited about this year? What games are coming out that you're excited about?
Do you got anything? Do you want me to...
I really need to think. You can go ahead if you got something.
Nothing. But by what I mean, there's a few games I'm kind of looking forward to see how they go. Obviously, Jake, we talked about Monster Hunter World.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But because I play exclusively on the PC, I have to wait until fall to potentially get to play that. So,
Yep.
there's a lot of waiting for me now. I don't pre-order things anymore. I don't.
Nor should you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't. So I wait, you know. There's games that look interesting, and maybe I'll look into them, but between going through this, which takes, you know, a fair amount of our time playing bad games, and then the games I accumulated during Christmas, and some other games that I just like playing back through, I still got a lot of stuff to play that I'm not really concerned. I don't know.
I'll tell you one that comes to mind almost immediately, and it should be out here in a week or 2 weeks, is Dragon Ball FighterZ. You know, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, and not much of a fighter in terms of video games, but this is one I can't wait to pick up. You know, we bought all the Xenoverse titles, and you know, all the Budokai games back in the PS2 days, and you know, I love me some Dragon Ball, so I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is one I'm really excited for sure.
See, I gotta say, Ni no Kuni 2. I fucking loved Ni no Kuni, The Wrath of the White Witch. I was waiting all of last year for Ni no Kuni 2 to come out, which of course kept getting pushed back till this year, so fingers crossed it finally gets a release.
It should be. I think it's close.
I believe it's March this year, which I'm not for pre-ordering games, but I considered it for that one. Just please give me that fucking game. Shut up and take my money.
What's that vampire game made by it's kind of like a Souls type.
Oh shit.
I always forget the name of that game.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you offhand. I know what you're talking about though.
I don't know. Maybe it's not worth mentioning if I can't remember the damn title. But man, I can't wait for that one either. I was like, it's called something like Vampire, or you know what I'm talking about.
It's Blood Souls, whatever.
Yeah, Bloodborne.
All right, so I had one last question. This one was from me.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
But I hate you.
What is the question?
What do you consider as your best video game accomplishment?
Best? Or like one we're most proud of?
However you want to take that. I will answer this with when I finished Dark Souls, the first one, when you defeat Gwyn, that feeling of finally beating that tough motherfucker, that is one of my proudest goddamn accomplishments.
That game gives you that feeling consistently.
I don't think so. Like, you feel really good on beating a boss, especially one that you throw yourself at consistently.
Mm-hmm.
However, Gwyn, for me, that was the absolute toughest fucking boss of that fucking game. And I spent 10 plus hours just throwing myself at that bastard, where I would try and I would fail, and I would go and I'd grind and I'd level up and I'd come back and he'd still put me in my fucking place. So by the time I finally fucking beat him, that was the best feeling fucking moment in games for me.
You want to go?
Sure, because I got one, I think. When, my first system outside of the PC I played on and then the Game Boy I had was a PlayStation. And we got Final Fantasy IX. And I played through it, as much as I could. And I actually got stuck. And I loved the game, but I couldn't get past a couple parts. And so I never beat it until probably 7 years ago. I picked the game back up and I went through and just, actually being an adult, it wasn't nearly as hard as I remember it being, but, getting through, beating the whole thing, just finishing it out, and because I actually really love that game. It's probably my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Have you played 6 though?
Yeah.
Well, then you're wrong.
No.
You can't see the shit-eating grin on my face, but I assure you, listeners, that it's there.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I think you know where I'm going to go with this one. I think my greatest accomplishment in gaming has got to be when I got 100% completion on Bloodborne. I don't think I've ever put forth so much effort at completing an area of a game as I did those Chalice dungeons. And especially the one at the end where you have half your hit points, which basically makes everything a one-hit kill to you. And you have to go through and you have to fight all these bosses and the difficulties ramped up. And on top of all that, you have to do it solo. Not to mention the fact that you cannot continue trying as many times as you need. There are a finite amount of attempts that you can make at the Chalice dungeons. And I finally got through and I finished that game. And man, I was a different person after that. I mean, it tested my patience and my ability and just, man.
At the end of that, you were a broken man.
Yeah, pretty close. But I think it was worth it. I don't know. I mean, definitely a better Souls player afterward, I'd say. Any other questions?
That's all I had.
Nah, yeah. I haven't gotten anything. Well, I haven't checked in the last 2 days, but no one's emailed me or the podcast.
Well, let me ask you then. Is there a game that's out that you want to play but that you haven't?
Doom.
The newest one?
I can't wait to get my hands on it. Mm-hmm. I haven't yet, but I also haven't gone out to pick it up. I intend on building a gaming PC, so I'm waiting. I don't want to get any more things on console because I'm just not there yet. So outside of stuff for this podcast, I'm not really buying new games.
I'm actually going to reiterate his Doom statement. Going through a lot of the top games of 2017, I noticed some people talking about it, and it looks interesting. And for shooters, I don't want to have to deal with multiplayer, and it looks like it actually has an interesting, just you can play it by yourself.
Yep.
And so that really interests me. It also seems to have a lot more of the kind of bombast and chaos that I thought Rogue Warrior lacked, where I think it would actually be a shooter that I might enjoy. So I kind of want to pick it up, but as I said, I have so much other games that I've been playing. Hopefully I'll get to it. I don't know. When Jake gets his PC, I might look into getting it.
Now, if you're curious how that game plays out, I do have a Let's Play on my YouTube channel. But no, seriously though, for me, I'd have to say Civ 6. I'm a huge strategy fan, real-time or turn-based, and I don't have the means to play it, and I've been dying to get my hands on it. And I got to give me some Civilization 6.
Well, shit. All right. For the Bad Games Cast, I've been Jake.
And this is Alex.
I'm Jason, so I guess we're not doing plugs.
We'll get there.
I already did.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if this is the first episode they listen to, they don't even know what your YouTube channel is.
You can find me online at Jake Prey on Twitter or YouTube at Jake Prey as well. Alex?
On Twitter, I am at 10rulesall. That's TEN rules all. I'm more than just a number. Also, YouTube, 10rulesall. And Twitch, also twitch.tv/10rulesall. You can come watch me do whatever the fuck it is that I do.
You can check out the Twitter for the Bad Gamecast at the Bad Gamecast, or email thebadgamecast@gmail.com.
You know, before we get off of here, if you're a new listener, where did you hear about this podcast? Please message the Bad Gamecast on Twitter, or write him an email at the badgamecast at gmail.com. Jesus. Tell us where you found this podcast at.
And that's thebadgamecast@gmail.com. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Okay. The Bad Gamecast.
The Bad Gamecast.
Original recipe. Okay.
All right, shit, that's it.
Yep.
That's everything.
Cool.
Good night, everybody. You end up with like Dinklebot the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they needed a famous person to record these lines.
I really didn't.
Have you heard Richard Marcinko talk?
No, actually, I haven't.
His voice is like super high. It's weird. Alex is going to ask you to not do that.
Yeah, just every couple minutes, do that.
No, you son of a bitch. It's coming through on everything.